Welcome to Steam Dumpster Diving. You ready for some more garbage? Underneath is a roguelike beat 'em up, deeply focused on fast tactical gameplay with a huge variety of possible ways to beat the game. It's a $6 game. The game blitzes past the controls. WASD. Oh, excuse me? As far as I can tell, there's no way to bring those back up, except for restarting the entire game. Ben bloody tasty. We go through a confusing tutorial with this weird creature. Oh, Jesus. It's hard to understand anything that's being told to me here because, well, the words are on top of the words. It seems like a survival wave-based combat. I jump in as a Viking and am immediately confused by controls. They're clunky and hard to use. However, this could definitely be a skill issue with how junky the game feels. It's hard to say if the game is full of bugs or this is all intentional. I just can't believe it. We fight a few monsters and fight some slimes, end up in a shop. Yay, shop is fantastic. Except, apparently, this unlabeled thing is a teleporter, the weird dead creature. So we're forced to move on and die. Lots more fighting and struggling. Some of the spawns are rubbish. You spawn in the middle of nowhere, or you spawn on top of a bat. I think this game is another travesty. But I like the music and the art. That even healed me, mate. The controls are so janky, and every action has like severe load up time, holding me in like a perpetual punching bag state. The fight feels really unbalanced and unfun. Steam says this game has mostly positive reviews, but I don't know if I can believe that. The English ones don't say much positive, and even the positive ones in the other languages say a lot of negative things. Or just say like, jargon. I think this can go on an F as well. This just fails to be a fun game. I think that like reworking the entire character controls could probably fix most of the issues. But I struggle to get past the first few levels. I don't know if there's a boss. I don't know if there's like story. The game obliterated me more than Dark Souls. One more try. Fire Arrow Plus is a retro arcade space shooter. I think we just jump into this. It's quite confusing. We've got two launch options. Fire Arrow Plus. I can't see anywhere on the page that talks about it. How do I... Options. Enter space, nothing. Okay, let's try that other one. Normally it's a red flag when the controls are here, but when I can't play, it's not a red flag. I have no idea why the game started, but here we are. Actually not a bad game. Yeah, I don't think I can hate. It plays like any sort of space shooty arcadey game. And all of that to say is that I don't really like it, because I don't really like those games. Because I'm feeling like a bastard, I'm gonna put this in the D category. Because I have no idea why the controls are not on the start menu. Sure, if you play like a lot of old school games, I'm sure Z and A makes a lot of sense. But it's not clearly written anywhere. It's very annoying. You know what? Maybe I was being a little harsh. You might not notice, but all the video that I showed you before was from Fire Arrow, not Plus, not X. Once again, it's a little confusing why the controls are not in there, but there is a video clip for the controls that does play if you sit idle for like 2 minutes, and it's very helpful. I would love for that video to be at the start. Now, I don't feel like this game is shovelware. It's got a lot of what I hope and believe is cool and unique art. Look at this giant face boss. That's interesting, right? There's two variants of this snake boss, which I didn't even realize going through it. I played a little bit more because I felt like I was being a bit aggressive to it. I don't want to give it more than a D because I'm really not a fan of these games. Another reason why I'm not too sure if this game is shovelware specifically, there is a higher than normal discount in specifically the Russia area. This here is normally a big indicator that someone's paying for you know, non-legitimate reviews. But they might just be European. They might just be doing a discount for that area. On to the next. Self-shot looks to be a dreadful first-person shooter. With incredibly weird sounds and noises. Hopefully this trailer doesn't ruin too much for me. I'm quite skeptical if this is not just shovelware. Because the publisher's Conglomerate 5. It's kind of odd. Let's jump in and have some fun with this fella. I've never had to install so old C++. I cannot do anything. ZNA? Interesting. Alt F4. Once we reopen the game works normally and we get this loading message. People who leave positive reviews in the store go to heaven without queue, which is bloody funny and possibly why the game is so highly reviewed. We film a TikTok with our friend, then flashback before we did that great thing. My brain turns to butter reading all the dialogue. It's blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. But I get excited by the idea of shooting. Target shooting is fun. There's a lot of dialogue. Saving you the lore, we get into the tutorial where I accidentally quit out because the options don't have labels. Oops. Once we get back in, I have to manually adjust my mouse sensitivity because the in-game sensitivity is 300,000,001, and that one is just a little bit too much. All good, this game was apparently made by a few teenagers, and I'm the kind of guy who gets confused by reflections. How are you seeing that? Are you looking from... I accidentally blitzed through the tutorial, where we get a slingshot that magically turns into a poo-pew. The tutorial is more involved than most others, which is nice, and that I can double jump. Okay. Oh, excuse me. And then we learn about the develop notes, which I find to be both interesting and hilarious, as they are just giant walls of text. Finishing the level easily, we move on to some more lore, and I spend way too long trying to get out of the level. We move on to the next level, where my monkey brain does the exact same thing, except this time I did it, and fall out of the map and soft lock. Fuck it, let's go. Right. I guess the developer wasn't planning on having people with such a smooth brain as myself. Restarting, I follow the intended path, and we're introduced to combat. Eek, that scared the hell out of me. We killed the errandless, quickly. Pretty dumb, are you just like me? And decide to parkour again. You are pretty dumb, aren't you? And there we learn that crit exists in this game. I promise you, I never figure out how this mechanic works. My only thought is that either the hitbox is so tiny for the crit and the bullet is big that it misses it, or the crit is true random percent hit chance. We meet screamers who make unpleasant sounds. Unpleasant squeals. And yes, they do. After fighting one, we fight 10, and they squeal like crazy. I found this so funny, I broke into a coughing fit that I will not make you listen to. We get another lore dump sign. It doesn't even have all the letters on it, and they give us a shotgun which speeds up the game fantastically. We get a key that opens a door that is not labelled at all. Moving platforms are introduced, and thankfully, for my fantastic parkour skills, respawns are now in the game. We get sticky grenades that I'll never use past this point as it's mildly inconvenient. Finally, we make our way to our first boss, the neighbour's child, which is a bloody hilarious name, as it implies the neighbour's child is some sort of disgusting creatures. Oh, thought this was a jump pad. I got wrecked. After a couple of attempts, we learn that one platform has ammo and the other has health. If you want to make it easy, just hang it on the health pad. The baby is a flat laser, a spew attack, and a plus-shaped attack. I had a lot of fun. We take out the baby with its one weakness. Shotguns. We meet a cat who guides us along our path. Oh, hello, Ren. And gives us a Gatling gun, as all cats do. It's at this point where the explosive enemies are introduced, and I learn how much I wish there was a better way to select weapons aside from scrolling. We mow down more endlings, and get more lore dumped on us. We get a perfect weapon for dealing with large groups. Thankfully, there is immediately a large group. We meet the viewer, which has got to be the most tanky annoying enemy in this game. It just eats ammo. Knowing this, after we reach the end of the level, we're giving a nice little dance break, which I happen to find so funny. It does, however, not let us skip ahead. You must enjoy the entire dance. We blitz through a few more levels, reach another boss who has extra arms to hug with, so if you're feeling a little lonely, this is the perfect boss for you. Without spoiling the entire game, you unlock a few more weapons, even get something that makes dealing with your eyeballs pleasant. The game was actually pretty enjoyable for what it is. All in all, it took me 60 minutes to fully complete this game. I would say this game has a lot of potential. With a bit more polish, it actually feels like somebody put time into this game, and it's not some code scraped off the bottom of the Unity floor. This is both good and bad, as I don't think any of the assets were taken directly, and the vast majority of them were made by these three people who made this game. I like the music, I like the weirdness of it all. Honestly, I would have liked it to be a little bit longer, with more bosses. This was a small project amongst friends. I don't know if this game deserves it, but it's going in C, because unlike most of the other games, it didn't physically hurt me to play longer than 30 minutes. Franky the Bum Walker Reborn. I cannot look at the store page for this. I do not want to be spoiled at all. Let's have a look at it. Oh my god. Yay, teleportation went well. No abnormalities at all. Oh my god, Franky's caked up. Steps. Those are steps. Good morning, my name is Franky. Hello, Franky. What's your name? Lacroix. What could you tell me about this world, Lacroix? Either buy pomitos or stop wasting my time. Buy what? Pomitos. Just like tomatoes. With a little bit of surprise. I love surprises. Then you better buy it. Oh my god. Oh. That was the weirdest game I think I've played in a long time. Let's do this in the most sporadic way that I can imagine. We're doing this on the fly because that's what a game like this deserves. I have no idea what this game is trying to be. It is somewhere between a child's game and then like an adult's game. You see the imagery in the background. It's very weird. It's very funny. Okay, you like my koala? It's a good koala. Anyway, back to it. This game is so over the place. So it plays just like a child's game. It's very simple, it's very straightforward. You just talk to one person and the other person. Like, it's basically impossible to fail. You can walk into a person and mash a button. One of the first people we meet is a drug dealer selling tomatoes that give you feelings. Look at this worm. This worm is like happy. You got a happy feeling from it. This implies that these tomatoes give you like a wild range of feelings. This is so weird. Not to mention in this town, we have to sit here for a minute listening to this person sing. I could only assume that this is the developer. They've got a lovely voice, but I don't want to sit here and listen to you sing for a minute. Let me skip. It's okay. Look, it's fine. It's fine. If this is a kid's game, no big deal. Song sequences are pretty normal, and not letting kids skip everything because they would just skip everything. We go find a dancer who can't dance anymore. We sprinkle some plants. Okay, whatever. Pretty normal. We build a boat. Apparently we're not allowed to use the boat. So we follow the worm. We go down the wormhole. Whatever. We headbutt some worms. We dodge some rocks. We make it to the other side. Big thanks to our green mustache worm. They're called Lalumbas? When we get to the next town, there's bouncers. There's bouncers outside of a door. We go speak to a mayor who's holding a bottle of wine. And then it becomes even more clear that this is not really like a standard kids game because they're talking about a club. And then we go down to this little house after finding some books on how to be cool. And in here is a kid who wants some grape juice. So giving this kid some wine. Okay, so then we go into the club, and then we see people twerking on stage. I think it's very funny that the guy walks with his bum. His name is Bum Walker. Franky the Bum Walker. I don't know why he's reborn. Oh. But there's people dancing on the stage. The people in the bar are drunk. And then we go give alcohol to this kid so we can get some fruit. Some drug fruit to give to the mayor to get another book. So we can translate some things for these people who live in tree houses. And this guy's really good at jumping. We confront the evil guy and we have a boss battle. We have a boss battle. I have no idea why this game has a boss battle. This is not a... is this a boss battle game? Anyway, we escape. We chase after him. Because he escapes, sorry. And then he gets crushed by the person who can do the sick jumping. This game was a mess. Oh, I don't know if this needs to be rated like an A. This should be rated like a C. I don't know who I could give this game to. Like, who is this game for? The art is good. Like, all the art is clearly made by the developer. And I just look at the store page. The game is free because of World Event. I don't want to, I don't want to involve politics in this. But, half of it explains, what this, where this game came from. Oh, Christ. Have a D like everyone else. Bibou Quest is a $7.50 game of skeptical quality. It looks pretty nice. Let's see how it plays when we hop in. I have huge suspicions that Bibou might be shovelware. Actually, yep. The game is the game. That is the game. Bibou is a very straightforward collect coins. Couldn't bring myself to collect all 70 coins. I'm sorry. Not much to say about Bibou. Very, very straightforward. Very, very simple. Very flat. SKIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIII It's $1.50. What more can you want? Don't like that menu, mate. We start off with a nice little cutscene of our car sliding into the objective. Nice. How will it hit these? Oh, great. It's another game without a tutorial. Left and right. Or turn or skid. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I'm very good at drifting because I learnt from my Nana and Oppa in their shiny Corolla in the early 20s. Minus the saw blades crushing us from the outside. But you know, semantics. I don't have a lot to say about this game. Sadly, most of the things are negative. The flashing is so unnecessary. A small particle effect under the car would have done just fine. But a whole screen flash of white is madness. I'm being flashbanged every time I do the right thing. It's obnoxious. The music is good. However, it doesn't play through. So every time you retry, the music restarts and it's jarring. I do guess it's nice as it makes it seem like there's a new run each time. And I'm glad it's just not the one song again and again and again. But let me listen to the tracks. Some of them are actually really nice. This game is so cheap, it's hard to hate. For $1.50 for however long fun it is, sure. Enough. The game is just missing so much polish. Firstly, a tutorial is basically necessary. Especially because the store page says there are no brakes. So I didn't realize you could handbrake turn with the down arrow key until I'd basically finished the entire game. And apparently the R key restarts? How am I meant to know this? Guess? Oracle premonition? It's fine. It's fun. D. Thanks for joining me. Just want to say your comments mean a lot. My Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee are down below.